Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to talk about one of the most ambitious tech shifts you probably never even heard of. We're talking about moving the very heart of our digital world, our data centers, from right here on the ground into outer space. And no, this isn't science fiction. This is a multi-billion-dollar plan that's already happening. And a vision behind it? It's huge. Listen to how Zhao Hongjie, an executive at the aerospace company Ada Space, puts it. The goal is to bring intelligent services to every single corner of the Earth. That's a pretty bold statement, right? It paints this picture of a future where computing power is as universal as the sky itself. But that makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, we've spent decades building this massive, powerful computer infrastructure right here on the ground. So why on earth would we go through all the trouble, all the expense of launching it into orbit? What problem is so big that the only solution is space? Well, the answer is that we've kind of hit a wall. We're facing this huge bottleneck with our current system. The very foundation of our digital lives. It's starting to show some pretty serious cracks. So let's break down these problems. First off, our data centers guzzle a staggering amount of energy, and a massive chunk of that is just to keep them cool. Then you've got these huge blind zones, parts of our planet where networks just can't reach. And finally, of course, they're stuck on the ground, which makes them totally vulnerable to everything from earthquakes to floods. And this is where it gets kind of wild. The sheer inefficiency. Think about this. Data centers already use about 1.5% of all the electricity on the entire planet. But get this, a whopping 40% of that power isn't for running AI or processing your data. Nope, it's just for air conditioning, just to stop the servers from literally melting down. And here's where our ground-based system just completely fails on a planetary scale. We talk all the time about a connected world, right? Well, 95% of the world's oceans are complete network blind zones. 95%. That is a massive part of our globe that's effectively offline. And the problem isn't just on the ground looking up. It's also in space looking down. We've got these incredible satellites up there collecting priceless information, stuff like climate monitoring or data that could predict natural disasters. But the connection back to Earth is so slow that up to 90% of that vital data is just lost. It's generated and then just deleted, never even processed. So, okay, you're faced with these huge limitations on Earth. What do? Well, the logical next step, even if it sounds a little audacious, is to look up. The solution being proposed is to build our next generation of data centers in orbit. So what exactly is space-based computing? Well, it's the idea of a global network of satellites that don't just relay information, they actively process it. We're talking about the whole shebang. AI training, teaching the models, and AI inference, where the AI actually makes decisions and analyzes data right there in space. It's a truly global computing grid. And when you put the two side by side, the advantages are just obvious. On the ground, we're stuck using the grid and fossil fuels. In orbit, you have constant, powerful solar energy. Down here, we spend a fortune on cooling. In space, you have the ultimate and totally free coolant, the deep, near absolute zero cold of the void itself. And this isn't just some cool concept on a whiteboard. This is happening right now. China, through both private companies and research initiatives, is in a full-on race to build this space AI infrastructure as we speak. The big commercial project is from that company, Ada Space. Their plan is called Star Compute, and wow, is it ambitious. They're talking about a network of 2,800 AI-powered satellites, creating a massive computing and training platform that will blanket the entire globe. And the timeline for this? It's surprisingly aggressive. This is not some 50-year plan. The first satellites for this constellation were just launched in May of 2025. They're aiming to begin commercial operations by 2030 and to have the full network of 2,800 satellites up in orbit by 2035. And they're already proving the tech actually works. They recently pulled off the world's first test where they controlled a robot on the ground directly from orbit. That's a huge deal for operating in remote areas. Plus, they deployed Alibaba's powerful Qwen 3 large language model on a satellite, running the AI entirely in space. And it's not just one company. Zhejiang Lab is running its own project called the Three-Body Computing Constellation. Its main goal is to solve that 90% data loss problem by putting AI in space to process the data right where it's collected. They're aiming to have 100 satellites up by 2027. So you might be asking, what's fueling all this? Well, it's backed by some serious economic projections. China's top tech academy estimates that by 2030, this industry will be worth over 36 billion US dollars. That's the real rocket fuel for this race. Okay, so let's be real for a minute. Building a data center in space has got to be one of the hardest engineering challenges you can imagine. Let's look at the obstacles and then the incredible vision that makes it all worthwhile. I mean, space is an incredibly hostile environment. You've got intense radiation bombarding everything, wild temperature swings from scorching hot to freezing cold, and you can't do maintenance. If a server breaks, you can't just send a technician. This means you need totally new, specialized hardware, like radiation-hardened AI chips. But if they can overcome these challenges, the end game is completely transformative. Zhao Hongji envisions a future where getting computing power from space is just a utility, as simple, reliable, and universal as turning on a tap for water or flipping a switch for electricity. And that leaves us with this final massive thought to chew on. From autonomous vehicles driving themselves in the desert to swarms of drones flying over the ocean, all coordinated by this seamless, intelligent network above. What does our world actually look like when it develops its very own AI-powered nervous system, watching over and